Yellowstone National Park is my favorite national park. It's like several different parks put together. Tall mountains, river canyons, glacial valleys, immense waterfalls, diverse wildlife, panoramic scenery, and thermal features only found in selected places on Earth. It's a large park, roughly 3,500 square miles in northwest Wyoming, with the north and west borders of the park spilling over into Idaho and Montana. The main accessibility to the park is via the Grand Loop Road. It's configured into a rough figure 8, 142-mile, sometimes good, sometimes narrow, sometimes pretty crappy, and sometimes downright scary road. There are 5 entrance roads, and each is worth the time to drive and see the sights. I've been to Yellowstone 3 times, in 1998, 2001, and 2006. Each time I've entered from Grand Teton National Park, so the introduction of part 1 of the Grand Teton video applies to this Yellowstone video. In 1998, we spent 4 days in the park and visited most of the main sites. We even took the hike to the bottom of Tower Falls and learned my lesson about hiking at 6,000 feet above sea level. I had a Hi8 video camera, but since I had no concept of video editing at the time, there isn't much video. Photography was also 35mm, so the per picture cost was relatively high. In 2001, we arrived in the park on September 11th for 3 days. I had hotel reservations in West Yellowstone, and with air travel shut down, at least I was assured a room. The big screw-up that trip was I didn't do my homework. The Madison North segment of the Grand Loop Road was closed. A 16-mile road closure causing an 84-mile detour. In 2006, I wasn't there to visit Yellowstone, I was there to visit Grand Teton. But that didn't stop us from doing a little sightseeing. We spent the night in the park in a remarkably cheap cabin and canyon. Of course, there was a reason it was cheap, but, well, we just needed a bed. Since I've always entered Yellowstone from the south entrance, we'll start from the south entrance and work our way counterclockwise around the park in segments. More or less. After getting escorted out of Grand Teton, you cross the John D. Rockefeller Jr. Memorial Parkway and reach the south entrance where you get to pay another entrance fee. If you're going to visit multiple parks, add up the entrance fees. You might be better off buying an annual pass. Just saying. Well, let's see. It's 9 o'clock a.m., 87.523 on the Odo, 4729.9 on the trip. Still going northbound on US 89. We're now in Yellowstone National Park. This is the Lewis River Canyon. A few miles after entering the park in 2001, there were a bunch of cars in the pull-off, so of course, we stopped to see what kind of creature it was. It was my first moose not in a zoo, and without a squirrel nearby. About 10 miles into the park is Lewis Falls. On one side of the road are the falls, and on the other is the Lewis River Valley that has a natural sightline to the Tetons.
There's mountains way back there. But we were just there.
Lewis Lake through the trees. That's a big lake.
Mm-hmm.
When we turn right on the Grand Loop Road, we start to follow the west thumb of Yellowstone Lake, and eventually the lake itself. I don't have video, but I do have pictures. Continuing up the road, you will eventually encounter Fishing Bridge, which should be named the No Fishing Bridge because they prohibit fishing. Thus, the fish in the water below taunts you, hanging around within eyesight. Sulphur Cauldron is an acidic hot spring, almost as acidic as battery acid. Its constant release of hydrogen sulfide causes the entire area to smell like rotten eggs. Or a fart after you've eaten certain foods. Your choice. Now, the interesting thing about this stop wasn't Sulphur Cauldron. It was our first buffalo jam. Okay, technically it wasn't a buffalo jam because we weren't stopped in our car, and they're not buffalo, they're bison. Technicalities.
Hey, I'll take people in the picture, that's okay.
Well, no, maybe they are going to come right across the road. Well, here they come. Where are they going to go from here? Where are they going from here, I wonder?
When we went to the parks, we were given one of these at the entrance station, along with a map and a park newspaper. Given I read about some tourists being gored at least a couple of times a year, I really have to question what's going through their mind when they have to take that selfie. National parks aren't petting zoos. But I digress.
The more we wait, the more there are.
Now, buffalo jams, or bison sightings for that matter, exist anywhere in the park, but are mostly on the south and west sides. They're mostly harmless. Just stay in your car or keep your distance. Besides, you haven't been in a Yellowstone buffalo jam until one gives you the stink eye on the way past.
We gave you the look.
They can last a variable amount of time because they don't care.
Why don't you creep up a little? Get them to move. There you go.
Just be patient and things will eventually clear up.
They're just not in a hurry.
Yeah, give me that tongue.
Wait. Let them over. Jenny's going to be backed up for a while the other way. Wow. Let's see how much it backed up traffic.
Still running.
It backed up traffic for...
The Grand Loop Road continues to hug the Yellowstone River all the way to Canyon. The canyon area is one of the 4 or 5 main attractions in Yellowstone. Because of that, there are full facilities here, from lodging to food to showers and laundry.
There are the ice machines.
That's our room. That's not. In 2006, I got a cabin here, and it was remarkably inexpensive. Well, for a reason. But it allowed us access to the upper and lower falls during sunset and early morning when the crowds are non-existent. The Yellowstone River's first fall is the Upper Falls and spills the river 109 feet. mile later, the lower falls causes the Yellowstone to drop another 308 feet. After that, the river, with the help of some glaciers, carved a canyon 20 miles long and 1,000 feet deep. It's known as the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and the park actually derives its name from this canyon. The Minatari Indians' name for the river, Mitsia-Dazi, means Yellow Rock River. The French equivalent, Roche Jean, which translates to rock yellow or yellow rock, was also widely used. But it was the Americans who named the place Yellowstone. Well, when you own it, I guess you get to name it. The North Rim Drive is a one-way road dedicated to let the tourists see the first couple of miles of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. A spur takes you to Inspiration Point. On the way is Glacial Boulder, a big erratic from the Beartooth Mountains, and the planners made sure the road passes right by it. Inspiration Point used to extend another 100 feet, but one day a 6+ earthquake hit and it just fell off into the canyon. Now, that's inspiring.
Well, if you're shooting this way.
There are several other viewpoints on the North Rim Drive. Grand View Point is across the canyon from Artist Point, but Artist Point has a better angle to see the canyon. Lookout Point is the closest you can get to the lower falls without having to descend and climb a 500-foot staircase or trail. The two trails on the North Rim, the Red Rock Point and brink of the lower falls, descend 500 feet. The 250-foot climb at Tower Falls nearly did me in. If they don't have an elevator, I ain't going. The South Rim Drive allows viewpoints of the upper falls and some stops to see the canyon.
Come on, you had him walking next to your car.
No, because I can't even see where he is.
Put the one right in front of you?
You know,
What?
he's not happy.
Foot.
Oh, you know it's a he.
I think he's got something hanging down. Or he's drooling. Let me take two. Oh, drool.
Do you want to take two?
We're going, Mom.
Okay.
The road ends at Artist Point, the most iconic view of the lower falls. And that's going to be the end of part 1. Like, share, and subscribe. It'd help the channel.